Hello and welcome to another episode of the Full Force Weekly, brought to you by GeneralsJoesReborn.com, with me as your host, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostic 80. For today's episode, I'm all on my own. In this regular video series, I round up all the week's news in the world of G.I. Joe. What is it, me? It's the Full Force Weekly. Good morning, everybody. Good very early morning. Sorry I had to go a little bit early this morning just to kind of, we'll get this one out of the way, unfortunately. I know it sounds like we're going to be in a rush, but yeah, I have got a very busy day ahead of me. So I thought, well, I'll go early. Pat can't join anyway, so we'll have a proper early Saturday morning with comics. There will be comics news and toys news, but also cartoons. We haven't got cartoons news, but you know, cereal and cartoons is what I'm getting at. Hope everyone is doing well this Saturday morning, or whatever time it is in your neck of the woods. Yeah, no Pat today. Like I said, he is busy sorting out some stuff for his retailer friends within the kind of build up to Joe Fest. So he's going to be doing that this weekend. What was I also going to say? Oh yeah, it's been, if you didn't catch my Let's Talk Classified Road Pig episode yesterday, then you might not have heard about, I'm in the banter stage, so we might as well talk about what's been going on. But yeah, I had to go to the dentist yesterday. So it was a hell of a day yesterday. Early morning, dentist. I had 3 fillings, and because I grind my teeth, I've cracked 2 of my teeth because of it over the years. So 2 of them had to be sorted out, and then another one was because I had a wisdom tooth that was growing weirdly after I think I got punched when I was younger. And basically, if you imagine teeth should be coming out like this, my wisdom tooth was going into the other tooth like that and kind of like wedged in and hadn't actually come out or like fully. So they had to get in there, wrench that out like 6 months ago, and it caused a cavity on the back of the other tooth. So that's fixed now, and yeah, it was fairly easy at the end of the day. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't too big a deal. So that was a hell of a day yesterday. Still managed to get Let's Talk Classified Road Pig out, and I'm happy I managed to do that one in time before we saw any renders or anything like that. So that's good. Go check that out afterwards. How are you guys doing in the chat? All good? Looks like it. Good morning, everybody. Is Pat working on Full Force merch? Official knit pick hat. Yeah. Yes, Pass, he is. Yeah, recording quietly to keep from disturbing Kate and Phoebes. Yeah. Right then. Yeah, let's do this. Right, so we've got lots to kind of get into this week. It's obviously lots of comics stuff. And then, of course, lots of classified stuff with the live event, the fan stream. But we've got some kind of new information that popped up since then. Not new information, new images, I would say, which we can talk about in a little while. And yeah, we'll get stuck into it. So let's go. It is the Full Force Weekly. But first, comics. Yes, we've got a bunch of stuff, and this graphic doesn't actually cover all of the things that we're talking about this morning. Now, there will be spoilers for multiple things. We're going to be looking at the preview for Scarlet issue 2, and I'll be talking a little bit about Scarlet issue 1, which was very cool. But also we've got Kickstarter update. We've got a little bit of Nemesis Immortal news in how it relates to classified. And we will start with the Kickstarter update. They've reached 12 stretch goals. The next stretch goal is the 2 million mark. It is absolutely insane. At one point, I was updating quite regularly, like, you know, just kind of like, oh, when they've hit another stretch. Now I'm just like, what is it at? Oh, yeah, that's not surprising. Like, it is just a runaway train of success, this Kickstarter. And yeah, like I said, we've got another stretch goal to reach at 2 million. And they have decided, after a lot of people have been mentioning it and talking about it, that is the G.I. Joe yearbook is going to get a reprint, like a physical version of it, basically. And that is going to be added to anybody who has made a physical pledge. So that will be included. And it's the Larry Hama cut as well. So any stuff that was, yeah, basically the Larry's kind of editorial version of the GI Joe Yearbook 1. The reason it wasn't included, and I fell foul to this myself when I was reading through the kind of like offerings for each compendium, or the information for each compendium. It said yearbook 2 to 4 or whatever. And I was like, oh, I wonder why Yearbook 1 isn't in there. But it's very simple. Yearbook 1 is effectively a reprint of that first issue. So there's not really much point putting it in there, because it doesn't give you anything new necessarily. But they decided, because people kept talking about it and saying that, they thought, yeah, let's just throw in a physical copy of the yearbook, just to kind of complete that OCD element of the collection. I believe the cover was going to be put in there, but not the contents, based on the fact that we'd already have those contents. But this is incredible. I was obviously talking with the guys the other day about the fact that we've got a Haslab Star Wars Cantina, which is freaking mental and cool and incredible. It looks great. But what I noticed was the fact that, that is a fairly significant vintage collection kind of piece, isn't it? It's like a really significant, huge thing in the what do you call it? Kind of like in the brand's history as well. Like, very kind of pivotal moment, important sort of setting, and to have something like this deluxe offering in the vintage collection is kind of cool. And all the figures that, again, there's lots of figures included with it, which hopefully will help fill out the canteen. I know of a number of people who are aiming now towards like goal of kind of getting all of the characters that appeared in the scene, whether it was actually on camera or backgrounds kind of shots or whatever. They want to kind of get like an historically accurate filled cantina, right? All good, all cool. A reprint of a GI Joe comic is almost on the verge of hitting 2 million on a Kickstarter. A reprint, but bear in mind, yes, there's other aspects to it, and it's not just your bog standard sort of, here's a trade paperback sort of thing. But this, to me, is quite interesting. The fact that the vintage collection cantina is still not at Target, stay on Target. And I'm not sure if I've just been like spoiled very recently with GI Joe stuff just rushing to funding very quickly. But I'm surprised it's not even halfway. Kind of, it's 3,230 backers of a target of 8,000 at the moment. One, I'm surprised at that. But two, the fact that the Kickstarter for GI Joe's reprints of a Marvel book that we have got over and over again in different forms, and probably all have multiple versions of in our possession anyway, is getting to that, like, has gone beyond goal by, I don't even know what percentage is that, like 8,000% or something right now. But like, that just blows my mind. And then I look at the cantina and I think, I'm surprised it's not. I'd have thought this, considering we had like the heads up, people were expecting it. There was like an element of, we can get prepared for this sort of thing because of the leak and everything. I am very surprised that it hasn't reached its target yet. And that's, again, I feel like maybe it's because I'm maybe been a bit like spoiled over the last couple of years with GI Joe stuff, just kind of going things like straight away. It's like, oh, I mean, they funded that book in 6 minutes, and let's face it, 50K, it's not, I mean, it was a comfortable goal, but they're closing in on 2 million like that. And I know, look, what's 3,230 times what is it, 300? I mean, they're probably beyond that. I don't know. I don't math. 3230 times 299. So I mean, they're close to 1 million as it is, right? So it's not like they're lagging behind in terms of like the in terms of the actual money they're making off that. It's significant, you know, and it's also like it's only been a day, like, and again, I think I am just very much like expecting these things that I just assume are going to be super popular to be selling like immediately. So I think obviously I think it's going to hit target comfortably. 30 days left, you know, or like closing in on that halfway point, fourth, which would be 4,000 backers. Like I don't think it's you know, it surprises me that the I feel like the Joe brand is very popular at the moment, and it's a good point. SVF&G has said, I think folks have shifted funds to 6-inch, and that is a good point. Absolutely good point. I have to kind of agree with that one. There's an element there, I think, of like the scale kind of plays a big part in this. Obviously, they weren't going to do a Black Series canteen. I think that would be gigantic, wouldn't it? I mean, this is already huge. So imagine what the 6-inch version would be like. That said, and yeah, I'm not taking anything away from how cool this is, by the way. I think it looks awesome and it's, you know, very, very, very cool. But I am surprised it hasn't reached it. Also, I mean, $400 it's quite expensive. When you look at the and that this probably plays into it as well. This kind of slows the rate of increase down, I guess. But the fact that, you know, your his tank was 299, your Dragonfly was 274. The Even the Compendium collection, even though it was expensive, you feel it's worth it. And you know, again, and then you look at this at a 4-inch scale, but it is awesome. But at 39999, okay, $400, I think there is an element of whoa, you know, we've got to hold on to this and see how we can like move funds around to get to buy it, sort of thing. So I get that. Um, yeah, the Joe book is against the context that Joe in the 80s was a phenomenon, at points the most popular book on the stands, and this is the first time ever we are getting the omnibus treatment. Absolutely, Mark. I'm not taking anything away from that. And I know I'm kind of like, I suppose like, what's the word? Like, favoring, like moving the argument to the point of saying it's a reprint is really, yeah, it's exaggerated. There's more to it than that. You're right, absolutely right. But again, you know, I know a lot of people that aren't getting it, and it's still closing in on 2 mil. Amazing. Anyway, pretty sure Skybound is going to cover their licensing fees to Hasbro. You think Yorktown Joe, maybe? For me, the Star Wars has a bit of sticker shock on price. Then there's an unpleasant taste of it feeling a bit like a cash grab with basic and deluxe. It's a possibility, Mark. Absolutely, definitely on that one. And I say it's a possibility. There is evidence of that with what people say, you know, in response to this thing going up. Nixmus Prime says Gridiron Studios have put up new weapon systems for the Vamp and Hiss. Cool. I haven't seen that yet. Right. I'm just going to see what else you guys are saying in the comments before we move on. You want it 60-inch wide? Yeah, that'd be crazy. Yeah, Star Wars fatigue and the shift to 6-inch, and the knowledge that a G.I. Joe Haslab is coming. That said, if a 6-inch X-wing, I would have backed. Yeah, I think Rogue KT21, you got very good points there. You're right. I think the fact that people now know the Haslab is going to be revealed over SDCC, which is going to be a very exciting period of time. Again, it's going to make July again another GI Joe centric month, isn't it? Sticker shock is definitely a factor for the cantina. That and the fact of the cost to get all the patrons to fill it. Yeah, I think that's the main issue with most people on this. Not enough people are excited about a modular playset for $400 to $500. Well, yeah, I mean, what would you think it would? Here's a question though: do you think a GI Joe HQ of like a size similar to that, or even bigger for 4-inch, do you think that would fund quickly, or do you think it would go through the same sort of process? Just a question I'm putting out there. I don't know the answer to that, and I'm sure you don't. But what do you think? Because I'd like to see them almost battle it out, just to see where the popularity, or where people are putting their money at the moment. Because I think that would be an interest. Obviously, it would be stupid of them to do, but I think it would be interesting to see where people would go with it. Would you want a cantina or a GI Joe HQ? Would you want a cantina or a Terradrome? Would you want a cantina, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It'd be kind of interesting to see if a GI Joe 4-inch thing could compete with that. Anyway, because it's two, when you're talking about two different scales, it's slightly. I think this against like whatever the GI Joe classified Haslab is going to be, most likely a Rattler by all accounts. Then I could see something like a Rattler just sell out really quick. Not sell out, but hit the funding goal really quickly. So it'd have to be something Black Series against that, I think, just to kind of get like a fair sort of kind of experiment test going on. Anyway, I mean, it feels to me like GI Joe is a hot property right now, and it might have something to do with the fact that 6-inch is definitely a preferred scale. It would appear for more people, and because of that, you have GI Joe Marvel Legends. I mean, Black Series isn't really kicking out loads of crazy cool figures at the moment, but GI Joe is, and Marvel Legends has, I would say, slowed down a little bit. At one point they were releasing stuff every week, and now it feels much more spread out. I'm genuinely, like, it felt like Marvel Legends were revealing something every week at one point for like a year and a half. I'd love to see their release kind of cadence over like a period of time, because it would be really interesting to see how much actually came out. In any case, it's just something that jumped into my head there, and we'll be talking Haslab a little while anyway, so let's move on. But that is the Kickstarter update. Next stretch goal, 2 mil for the GI Joe yearbook physical copy, included in everyone who ordered a physical pledge. Right then, the votes are also in. So we got fan votes, or they put like a fan vote up for the next 3 trading cards for both Cobra and GI Joe. Tomax and Zaymot cheated and got 1 inclusion. So there you go. Dr. Mindbender and Firefly are the other ones. So Rod Wiggum will be doing the twins. Dr. Mindbender will be drawn by Paul Pelletier. And Firefly gets Larry Harmer and Steve Lealoa to do the honors on that trading card. So excited to see what they come up with there. I chose, I think, Hydro Viper. Who else did I choose? Hydro Viper. I can't remember who I chose now. And it's not like you can go and see again, because I went to look at my vote the other day, and it said, "Oh, you've already voted. You can't." And I'm like, "I know. I just want to see what I voted for." I can't remember what I voted for. It was Hydro Viper, definitely was in there, and I think maybe Night Viper. But yeah, like some of the ones that I wanted weren't actually in the list, which was a shame, especially for the Joes. But yeah, that so they're the votes: Tomax and Zaymot, Dr. Mindbender, and Firefly. I find that interesting. I find it interesting that the twins got got like a vote for that one. And like Dr. Mindbender is kind of interesting and cool. Firefly is a very popular character. I am surprised by Tomax, Zaymot, and Dr. Mindbender. I thought it was going to be like, I know we're already getting Cobra Commander and Destro and Baroness, etc., but I did think it was going to be way more obvious at the end of the day, because that's what happens with some of these votes, isn't it? It's like the obvious ones usually get the kind of nod, But obviously a lot of them were already kind of being done. So anyway, that is the Cobra votes. So if that's what you wanted and that's what you got, then well done. Imagine if only Zaymot got the card. I know that. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Better than taking up 2 cards, isn't it? Basically, yeah. The list was pretty exhaustive. How dare you, Mark? How dare you? Every one of the figures I wanted wasn't on there. So how is it? It couldn't have been pretty exhaustive, could it? Surprised to see cross country in there. Yeah, but I was surprised I didn't see Lightfoot in there. I was surprised I didn't see Downtown in there. I was surprised I didn't see. Actually, Robo Joe was in there, I think, wasn't he? Okay, so maybe it was exhaustive, but it wasn't. It wasn't to the point of. It wasn't complete. Is all I'm going to say. Yeah, but yeah. So there you go. They're the Cobra votes. And this is more what I expected. And again, I don't think I voted. I think on this one I voted Hit and Run. No, I didn't know. Sorry, Hit and Run wasn't there. I wanted to vote like that. There's another one. So Hit and Run wasn't on there. Lightfoot wasn't on there. Downtown wasn't on there. There was another few, weren't there? Anyway, Beachhead, Lady J, Flint get the nods. It just left out Chris's terrible niche tastes. Absolutely, buddy. Skidmark. Was Skidmark in there? I don't think Skidmark was in there either. Or Treadmark, as we would call him. If you back Joe, you can get the Cobra cards as an add-on and vice. Yes, you can, Ben. You can. All the add-ons are individual at that point. So it's not like you unlock just the Joe add-ons if you're just getting a Joe set. It's not like you have to get both sets in order to open all the add-ons. All the add-ons are just all add-ons, and you can add them on after the fact in the kind of backer kit thing that they do. So yeah, you'll be able to get both sets of the cards if you haven't got them in your pledge. Like if you've just pledged for like one compendium, for example, when it comes, and the physical one, when it comes to doing, you know, your backer kit, there'll be an add-ons and you can just throw a bunch of things on there if you want to. What do people do with these cards? Well, collect, put them in like a binder. There's lots of different ways you can. I mean, back in the day, it was swap season collecting, wasn't it? That's all it is, really. Maybe given the excitement for this, there might be a more substantial card offering down the line. That would be really cool, actually. That would be really cool. The cards are kind of making me more excited than because I think it's because it's new, it's different. Like obviously I've read the comics multiple times, but again, getting a compendium is very awesome. But I really do like this card set a lot. So it'd be interesting to see Ron Wagner's work on Beachhead, Dan Jurgens on Lady J, and of course Larry and Steve again on Flint. Very excited to see those. Obviously, Flint, Jay, and Beachhead, they're really cool characters, and I'm really happy they're getting done in the cards as well. But like I said, I think I chose. God, who did I choose? I know Chuckles was in there, and Outback. It was Outback, Chuckles, and somebody else, and I forget the third. Did I do? I might have done Fast Draw just to be really weird. But how nice would an Outback one have been? Seriously, Outback would have been cool. Look at them once and put them away, more than likely. I mean, look at the people that collect anything. And I mean, loads of collectors just buy the classified figures and that's it. They stay in the box in like storage somewhere. I am not going to be at Joe Fest, Stygian. Yes, my mom and dad are coming to visit over that period of time. So yeah, we're not going to be making it to Joe Fest, unfortunately. Maybe next year. That's something I do want to kind of like aim to make sure I'm kind of clear on the schedule for, but this year no. Right, so that is all of the Kickstarter updates. Now let's talk Comic Pals. The Comics Pals on YouTube interviewed Joshua Williamson, and my word, they got into some cool stuff, and I think in the link is in the description, but in around I think it's 18 minutes 10 seconds Joshua talks about Nemesis Enforcer, and what he said in that interview is that Nemesis Enforcer, they were working on the design, this one, from the classified action figure that Hasbro are going to be releasing for them. So here is your first spoiler. I did say at the beginning they're going to be spoilers in the comics stuff, so I'll say it again after this as well, because there are going to be more. I don't know. There's going to be more spoilers. Okay. So yeah. So we can probably expect wings in that fashion, that kind of like, very dark, kind of bat style, kind of monstery kind of wings, which is kind of cool, definitely. You can probably expect that sort of deco as well to kind of go across and design. In actual fact, the head looks like the one. Obviously, we've seen two heads leaked as well, haven't we? So we know sort of what to expect on the heads. One of which is a slightly different version of the character, who I don't know. I would say we might see that one kind of pop up in the future. Also want to say that head that was like slightly different does remind me of one of the covers that we saw with Nemesis Immortal on the front. So I wonder if that was there and I just didn't see it before. I'm gonna have to go through and look at all the covers again. But now I'm thinking, oh, maybe that one did look a little bit like that kind of leaked head that we saw not too long ago. Anyway, don't know if the wings are going to be posable. He might have multiple sets of wings, like big ones and kind of like folded up ones, or they might be sort of like, they might do some sort of like angular sort of like pivot where they can kind of like fold up a little bit. You know how you might like maybe like one point of articulation, at like the kind of like halfway point at the top, so that they can kind of like slide over each other, sort of thing. That would be kind of cool. But we'll see, I guess. But anyway, we've probably already seen what Nemesis Immortal is going to look like. And yeah, I would expect that we'll see something of Nemesis Immortal this year. You never know. SDCC is around the corner. They've got probably going to have more renders, probably going to have more name onlys, and that's where we're going to see the Haslab as well. So I'm sure we're going to get to see Nemesis Immortal very soon. But I said that about Road Pig, and he still evades us. I think maybe Road Pig next month then is now what I'm thinking. Anyway, I can't wait for this figures to pass. Like the wings, Hasbro gave Venom, says ICT Vinny. Yes, they were just huge, and I don't think they were posable, were they? I don't know, actually. Correct me if I'm wrong. I really hope we get Smiley Face Cobra Commander at some point too. That is kind of dark as well, in it, with the blood smile and all that kind of stuff. Nemesis Immortal in the Cobra Commander series was an amazing revelation. So cool and unexpected. Absolutely, Stygian. I just want that Cobra Commander version with the smiley face as Newfie. Yeah, a lot of people like that. The Angel Figs posable wings show they can do it. Yes, definitely. Is there a price point for him? Yeah, he's a deluxe figure. So the deluxe price point is $34.99. Bjorn said Road Pig comes with a skunk. No, he doesn't. But that would be amazing. I would be okay with something like the Necker Gargoyles with slightly articulated wings and a second set that just go over the shoulders, almost like a cape, says White. Yeah, that would be kind of cool. Yeah, like slightly articulated and two sets. So yeah, slightly articulated on the big ones, and for the fold up ones, yeah, just totally. That would be kind of cool, actually. I wonder, are they going to reveal the Haslab from SDCC? Normally they do a separate studio-based reveal video. Well, they'll do both, won't they? So there'll be a panel that they record, and you'll see, they'll have their video edited after the fact, but they'll also have, when they drop the reveal during SDCC, the video will go up and all the information will go up on Haslab, on the Hasbro Pulse. So we'll get, like, you get them at the same time, don't you, usually? So the information drops as they're revealing it on the in the panel. So that'll probably be how they do it on this one. And I'm sure it'll be leaked. I'm sure there'll be some sort of leak beforehand, which I kind of don't want. I just want to be surprised on that day. Genuinely, I want to just be like, okay, cool, just hit me with it. Let's see what we're working with. Imagine soft good wings. After I saw the bag with Sarge, I want soft good backpacks with the straps. Yeah. Certain elements, like the backpacks, would be difficult soft goods because I mean, I'm sure if you filled them, it would pack them up and everything. But and actually, they probably would look really cool. But it's that thing of like, I think one of the things that is always like difficult to kind of like get right, especially with the straps, is the way that the soft goods straps looks against the plastic and all the other plastic secondary and all the there's definitely a disconnect with a soft good and a figure that's, like it looks some sort of funny when you see the Jedis with the robes and stuff in like the Black Series, and then you see them with kind of more kind of thicker plastic sort of secondary robes, and it like, oh, it kind of looks right, but then you don't, then you lose the articulation and stuff. So it's a weird balance that I don't think anyone's ever really managed to achieve. Yeah, the Ghost Star Wars Haslab went up at SDCC. Yes, it did. Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll see how it goes, but from the sounds of it, they are going to be, yeah, they're going to be telling all at SDCC, and I can't wait to see what they've got planned. Anyway, moving on, and this is actually John Boy Meyer's cover, one of the retailer incentives for Scarlet issue 1. And speaking of Scarlet issue 1, that dropped as well this week, and again, just loved every page. I was really into this one, especially kind of like the whole kind of infiltration of the compound. Again, there will be spoilers, guys. Now that preview kind of gave that away, but it was interesting, and the story kind of opens up, and we definitely got a insight as to how this story is going to develop over time and the characters involved and all that kind of stuff. I won't go into too many spoilers, so I'll let you kind of, I usually give it about a week or so before we go into some of the intricacies of the comic. All I will say though is I was really into it, and effectively Scarlet is looking infiltrating or trying to get into the Arashikage, and the reason I say that is because we do have a preview for the next issue. So spoiler alert, if don't want to listen to this part, just give it a few minutes. We'll be over it in a little while, and then come back later. And my apologies, but yeah, here we go. We get the first few, we got first 4 pages, and Scarlet is trapped, like kind of tied up in the Arashikage compound, which is where she wanted to be. She's kind of like forced that issue. She's also shows in this particular scene how she's got a hidden razor blade just under her skin, which she has to rip out, which is kind of hardcore and a bit gross. Excuse me. And then when she gets that out, she manages to cut the ties and everything that she's kind of held up in, and then she gets out, and then all of a sudden one of the Arashikage ninjas is walking past, and it's like, huh? And she's like, okay, let's do this. So I'm sure we'll probably see some sort of battle in the next pages. But again, I have to say, I really like the story. I really like the way we're starting this. I like the fact that Scarlet is, she's got like a moral compass in this one, and it kind of causes conflict with her kind of military, kind of a standard military scenario. And that obviously probably piques the interest of the G.I. Joe team. And again, I won't go into more details because we do see other characters in there. RKW says, I would have hit it between my butt cheeks. Same. Yeah, I won't say any more, Yorktown Joe. I won't say any more in that one. Now, what I will do though is I will go through some of the amazing covers that are that we have for Scarlet issue 2. And I also want to make sure I'm getting all the info correct. So let me quickly, or not quickly, I should have done this beforehand, but you know, there's other things going on. Now, the first cover there on the left-hand side is, boink, get off my screen, is the cover A by Marco Ferrari. So that is cover A on the left, where she's holding the sword up against her face. Again, and then the reflection. I think that's the Hardmaster in that. Yeah, it could be. Or yeah, I think it's the Hardmaster. Very cool, very nice. I love the lighting on that one. Very, it's like she's kind of getting ready, focused, got the sword up. She's ready for battle. I like that one. Cover B is another one that I really like. I do like this art style, almost like a little bit kind of manga, bit kind of anime, but I really do like the dynamism of it. I like the movement. I like the kind of flash in the background of just the lines that they've utilized to create that kind of like, it's almost like the hyperspace, isn't it? Sort of vibe. And then all the ninja stars flying around them as if they're being attacked by ninja and they're about to get into a massive battle. Yeah, I love the movement on this one. Love the fact Storm Shadow's involved. That is cover B by Carl Kerschel. So yeah, lovely stuff. Then moving on, we have two more covers here. We have this is a 110 copy incentive connecting on the left hand side by Gleb Melnikov. So there'll be a connecting, these will be connecting covers. So I imagine other characters that show up in this series are going to be kind of, highlighted on this cover particularly. Again, another nice one with, I don't know who that is in the background. Who is the background person? Is it Tommy? Because there's a lot of Storm Shadow in this one, so it might just be Storm Shadow. I think it might be Storm Shadow, but I can't 100% tell. I'm sure it is, but I'm going to just go ahead and say, yeah, it is. So that's Gleb Melnikov. And again, there'll be more of these as well, kind of lining up with each other. And I kind of like how they've drawn Scarlet there. Very, very cool. And then we have another copy at 125 copy incentive by Paulo Rivera. And Paulo's been doing these sort of kind of like updated modern explosion background sort of character covers, and this is another nice one of that kind of retro inspired classified Storm Shadow. Now Storm Shadow does show up obviously in the Scarlet series, and I mean it's not really a spoiler, it's kind of well known at this point, but we're in spoiler territory anyway, so I feel safe that I'm not ruining things for people. And that's, again, it's a really nice kind of shot as well, based on, I would say, the classified retro Storm Shadow, based on the wrist guards and the wraps. I think it's the retro one. I might be wrong now. Maybe the retro one doesn't have. No, it's the classified one, isn't it? Because there's a classified one and the retro one, and the retro one I think just has wraps. I don't think he has those little arm guards. But anyway. Yeah, people assuming it's Storm Shadow, and I think it is. I believe it is. I never get any of the other covers, but they are nice to look at. They really are. Joe needs a Paramount Plus or some other streamer limited series. 100% agree, Stygian. I would love that. First Joe comic my kiddo asked to read. Made me so proud, says Nictimus Prime. That's cool. Makes me think of Surf Ninjas and Tone Loc. No one's going to get that pass. And I'm not reading the rest of it. Yeah, I assumed Storm Shadow has to be Tommy. That cover D is fire, pre-ordered today. Cover D, being this Paulo Rivera Storm Shadow cover. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, it's the classified one. Thank you, 36 Cypher. I thought because of the wrist kind of guards, they're not just standard wraps like the retro one. So yeah, nice. It's nice that we've got very specific styles for each figure and, all their versions now. And then finally, we have this cover by Annie Wu, and this is a 150 copy incentive. And this, again, is a nice shot. We've seen this a few times, kind of doing the rounds before the cover was revealed, actually. But again, very cool, showing Scarlet getting out of her, her ties and with a bunch of kind of, I assume, roughed up dead red ninjas around her. Yeah, it does look like a red ninja, that one, doesn't it? But they might just be Arashikage. Either way, it's a nice cover, and I like how the light is coming through the kind of like the kind of like paper door sort of things. I think that's really, really awesome. Yeah, there you go. Another nice cover. So Scarlet has got lots of awesome covers, and yeah, there was your preview. Now, Battle Action Force Deluxe Treasury Editions. We managed to reveal another cover this week. 3 Deluxe Treasury Editions so far. Not sure. Yeah, Kill Bill vibes, RKW, on that one. Yes, definitely. I agree with you. Sorry, coming back. So Total Toy Books will, of course, be dropping their pre-orders, and Rebellion, and of course everyone else involved, Skeletron, Hasbro, etc., will be dropping their pre-orders for the deluxe treasury editions of Battle Action Force. This is cover reveal 3, showing the Z Force on the front with Gaucho, Skip, Jammer, and I'm not sure who that is on the left. Who is that on the left? Can't recall. Anyway, I can't recall like from where the art's taken from as well. I'm sure it says, and is really obvious, but I can't think who it is. Anyway, yeah, very excited for these treasury editions. These are all the 3 that have been revealed to date. Paddy sent me images a second ago. Unfortunately, I've already gone live, so I can't include them in here. But we will be sharing that they're at a show at the moment, and they've got the treasury editions mocked up. Let me just, there you go. Look, there they are, all mocked up and on show. Yeah, so pre-orders will be going up very soon on those. We don't have an exact date yet, but of course, as soon as we do, we will let you know. And there's a couple of other things I can talk about, I believe, on here. I just have to be very careful that I'm saying the correct things. I also can't remember where I bloomin' well received the information. This happened last time, didn't it? I'm like, I can read some stuff out, but I couldn't find it. Well, I know where it is now. It's just going to take me about 3 hours to get there. Nearly there. Right, press release. That's what I wanted. Now, what can we talk about? We can say pre-order coming soon. Exact launch date is to be confirmed, but aiming to have it live pre-Joe Fest. All right. So that's one bit of information we can give out on there. So prior to Joe Fest, they should be out for pre-order, and no, the date is to be confirmed, coming soon. All right. The main thing is to sign up to the mailing list. I made a post yesterday on our Facebook page and all our channels, actually, X and Instagram. Go find the link, the sign up link, and I think there should be a link actually in the description as well. Go and get on that link and sign up for information, and you will be like emailed like straight away with any information and updates. And it also gives them a really good idea of the need and the want for these books as well. So definitely sign up, please, guys, to the mailing list. And you can go to totaltoybooks.com as well and do the same thing. You can sign up by going to totaltoybooks.com and signing up for the mailing list for these books. There's another bit of really cool info we can give out as well, and this is new information, and it's really exciting. So both Jerry Finley Day and James Tomlinson, original Action Force writers, are confirmed to be writing introductions to the treasury editions. How awesome is that? Jerry Finley Day and James Tomlinson will be doing introductions. They've been confirmed doing introductions to 2 of the compendiums, obviously, or 2 of the treasury editions. So very exciting. We'll get to a bit of insight from the actual the legends that are responsible for these comics in the first place. So that's phenomenal stuff. And we will be speaking to Brian again very soon, before Joe Fest, about the treasury editions, probably We might do like an interview on the day of the pre-order drops or something along those lines, but we'll work it out for you guys, and you will get another interview with the man himself. And Brian will tell you all the other bits of information about that. Anyway, my goodness, I haven't got much time to get through the rest of this, have I? So let's move on, because we are talking classified next. Right then, I'll probably do a little bit of chat about Haslab, but for the most part, everything else is going to be, we did it already this week. So if you want to check out my reaction to the amazing fan stream reveals, we'll do that. You can do that in much more detail over on that episode on our channel. So lots of different things here. We've got classified figures in hand, courtesy of Shark-Eyed Toy View on Shark-Eyed Toy View on YouTube, and Shark Eyes Pics, also known as on Instagram. And we've got a few images to kind of have a look at first. Then we'll be talking a little bit about the fan stream reveals, and of course we'll get into Haslab as well. Now, Doc was the first figure that Shark Eyes kind of posted, and I got to say, I'm loving what I'm seeing. The gear looks amazing. That stretcher, I cannot wait to use that stretcher and have like some injured Joe on it or something. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to have so many cool dios set up in here. It's going to be off the chain. And yeah, I'm really, really into what I'm seeing with Doc. Love all the pouches, love all the gear. It's just really awesome. And yeah, this is one that I knew I'd probably be into, but I didn't think I'd be into it as much as I am. And I am very excited for this particular figure to come in. He looks great. That is your flag, Shark Eyes Toy View, absolutely. And obviously we get a shot here of the head sculpt. You can see the kind of grey little strip, the kind of road. He's got the road pig inverted, hasn't he? Except he hasn't got red hair. So yeah, it's kind of got the kind of like, it's not a stripe that goes all the way back, I don't think, but it is kind of the grey temples. You can see the patch on the arm there as well, the kind of Joe Medic patch they've kind of devised themselves. It just looks great. I love the secondary. I love all the pouches. Love all the gear. It's top notch. And there is another shot of him checking his watch. So yeah, you can check out, again, link in the description for the video reviews on both Doc and the Night Creeper, which we'll be looking at in a second as well. Very, very impressed with these figures so far. Now, Night Creeper, apps, again, another beauty. I'm really into this. A couple of things that I did notice though. There's a weird gap in the camouflage on the top of the legs where the kind of the thigh split is, or like the hip, like, you know, right at the top of the thigh, basically. There's that kind of split for the articulation. And it's odd because usually what they'll do is the deco has to be almost like printed over that cut, so that when you split it, you split the camo. But what they've done, and I'm not sure if this is something they intended to do or something that just happened and it was too late to do anything about, but they've put the deco just below the split and just above the split. So you've got like a gap between the camo, which is a weird kind of, like, visually, that is a little bit like weird. But it's not taking away my enjoyment of this figure, I will say. I just did notice that, and I wanted to point it out first. But yeah, and here is another close-up, and you can see, look, from this shot as well, that gap is actually quite significant on the leg. But you know, it looks stunning, looks awesome. Love the two different heads as well on show. I don't have an image of the other head, I don't think, but that is floating around on the internet as well. But anyway, it's a really, really awesome looking figure. And there he is, kind of all action. So yeah, I just didn't. They are production, yeah. They're sneaking out to people already in Australia, it would appear. That's actually a good point. Is it? It could be that they are early production. That is a good possibility. But again, that's probably one of those things that we'll probably find out later on. But yeah, people look to be getting Doc and Night Creeper early on. Shark Eyes will let us know in the comments though if it is early production or if it's final production. I'm sure. We'll find out soon. So anyway, yeah, thank you very much, bud. Links in the description for those reviews as well, or the YouTube link for Shark Eye Toy View is in the description if you want to go check out those reviews right now. Okay, now the Yojo June fan stream kicked off on the 4th. BMAC took the place of Emily, who is currently very busy with SDCC planning. Not, you know, despite what people may think is going on, which is the oddest thing ever. But no, she is 100% just busy across all the brands that she's working on. She ain't just doing Joe. She does a lot of different things. She's doing Ghostbusters. She's doing she's kind of doing transform. She's doing pretty much everything at the moment with Hasbro, and yeah, and also getting the planning for SDCC, which is only probably only like a month away, is taking up a lot of her time. So BMAC stepped in, and also BMAC has been on the brand now for a little while. Early production, brilliant. Thank you, Shark Eye Toy View. So okay, those in package, in hand images and figures and reviews are early production. Thank you so much for confirming that, and that would explain some of the issues you've had 100%. I'm sure they have been commented on and then improved later. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thanks to Nictimus Prime for asking the question, because I just wasn't paying attention at all. And thank you, Shark Eyes Toy View, for letting us know. Right, cool. So BMAC stepped in. He wore a t-shirt that's got the internet abuzz, and they hinted so hard at loads of different things about Haslab. Obviously, the size of it, which only mean one thing to me. It's going to be a rattler based on the this way and this way thing that Lenny was doing. All right. Unless it's just a box, which I don't think it will be. I think we're going to, it just appears like we're getting, you know, something with a wingspan that's just about as long as its length. Kitty said. And of course, the t-shirt that BMAC was wearing, and they may have even hinted about that, actually, about the t-shirt that he was wearing for it. But yeah, it's almost like they were playing up to it. Yeah. So we'll talk about that in a second. But obviously, like I said, BMAC stepped in and did a great job. And like I said, he's been on the brand now for a little while, so that's kind of great as well. Because knowing BMAC for a little while now, and knowing that he's a GI Joe fan, a big one, it was. I'm glad that he is now getting to work on the brand. Very, very cool. So Lenny and Tony obviously also kind of, you know, they gave us all the info and all that, talked about loads of different details about each figure that they revealed. It was really cool. But of course, initially we got the renders. So we saw the Saw Viper, which they jokingly stuck a saw on to his saw. So he's got it's a Saw Viper with a saw. We see a Saw Viper with a saw on a seesaw. And someone's going to have to do that. They're going to have the Saw Viper with a saw and a saw on a seesaw, just to kind of like, you know, just for the meme. Yeah. So Saw Viper, very cool. I'm really digging this vibe. But again, I've talked about it in more detail in the live stream reaction video, which again you can go and check out after the fact if you haven't already watched it. But yeah, I think this is going to be a solid troop builder. That kind of heavy machine gun backpack, the kind of ammo belt, and of course the saw with the saw on it. Incredible. It's very Gears of War, Gears of Saw, right? Okay, cool. I'll stop saying things now. Saw Viper needs a bigger gun. Ben, I did joke about that on my Let's Talk Classified Saw Viper. I said, I wonder if they're going to release a weapon that is his height. But no, they didn't do that, thank goodness. Yeah, I think it's a fun little thing. There's been a lot of blowback about the saw on the saw, because I think it's kind of cute. I think it's kind of fun. Hopefully they refer to the saw on the saw for the Saw Viper as a breaching tool, says Sean. Easy for you to say. Yeah, maybe it's probably that does feel, or just a close up once the bullets have run out, sort of thing. Yikes. Um, his armor reminds me of Tripwise, but it's clearly not reused. New sculpt, but some coverage. Absolutely, Ryan. Yeah, I think Pat asked me the other day if that was Tripwise neck piece, and I had to put them next to each other, and I genuinely think that's got new details on it. So I don't think it is the same. Yeah, you can use your O-ring Saw Viper weapon with this figure because it is the right scale. And then, of course, we got dial tone as well. So this, again, was one that I was waiting patiently for, and I am very impressed with what they've done with this one. Very classically, very classic vibe, but there's a few little kind of details, little additions. The throat mic with the little earpiece, very nice little touch on that one. You've got the backpack, which is also kind of affixed to another backpack now. It's got multiple backpack sort of combination, but again, vibes of the vintage, and I'm really loving it. The little kind of radar dish kind of thing he's got is cute as well. Did someone? I can't remember what someone called it. They did call it something, and I've forgotten. But it's a cool little idea, and I think a lot of people are thinking that it's got maybe some sort of pre-tool for psych out because of the little radar dish on it, which I'm all for. Parabolic mic, thank you. Yeah, it's kind of like listening through walls and stuff, isn't it? Yes, parabolic mic, thank you. Now, there's a question at the moment. I'm going to ask this question to the team. There's obviously you've got the little cell phone, which he's got a little spot for in his belt. That you can see it on his left, your right hand side as you look at it. That little kind of there's a little spot for his phone to go in, but also on his machine gun, it looks like you can slot the cell phone in horizontally in that little clip, so that he can kind of like have that up while he's like kind of filming or communicating or whatever when he's got his gun up, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I'm excited to see how that kind of works, and I will ask them. If that you can actually put it on the machine gun. But that's great little touches. The walkie-talkie on his hip. All of the different secondaries. Removable beret. Very, very cool. Dad style cell phone holster. Absolutely. He's that guy. They even joked about that on the stream, didn't they? But yeah, I'm really into this. And you can also see that the mic is still, it looks like it's still on the backpack too. That little kind of lump on the side of the backpack looks like it's just like maybe folded down. It'd been cool if they'd folded it up, had it up, so you could see if it is actually on there or not. But we'll have to kind of obviously make that determination when we see more images and stuff of it. Maybe even if a leaked piece comes out, like a backpack, like prototype or something. Anyway, dial tone is great. Now, name only reveal for Footloose, which does open the door as well for a Marauders Footloose, because of course he was in the original Slaughter's Marauders, and looks like we're getting some Marauders stuff now, which is great, with Spirit, Lowlight, and of course the Sarge. But yeah, excited for Footloose. I think again, very in terms of accessories, you can kind of get away with the rifle, the kind of little bazooka, like rocket launcher thing, the backpack, the removable helmet, and then some secondaries like, a knife and a pistol and stuff. But I am definitely excited for this figure. And yeah, you might just say generic military or whatever, but I don't know. I've always enjoyed Footloose as a figure. I've always been a fan of his figure releases, and we'll be doing a Let's Talk Classified Footloose very soon as well. So there you go. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you want to see them reveal in terms of name onlys in the next couple of months. What characters haven't been done yet that you want to see, and I'll come back to some of them as we go along. Now, Haslab. Let's talk Haslab quickly, because they did mention that on the during SDCC they will be revealing the Haslab. Now, as Stygian was mentioning before, I think it was Stygian, they could be doing more like a video based thing on the day, and then when it comes to SDCC, it will be showing off the, talking about it and showing off the actual, the model, basically, which is absolutely possible. I could also see them doing a panel, and on that panel at a certain time, they talk about the reveal. They show images of it as it goes up on Pulse and all that kind of stuff as well. I could see that happening too. So you like utilize the event as a way to, be like the live event sort of thing, or the video. But I could see that happening either way, and I'm really, really excited to see what they do. So again, I think the Rattler is the front runner on this one. And before we get into some of those HasLab options, people want to hear or want to see some name only reveals for Cool Breeze, Cesspool, Bench Press, Salvo, Gridiron, Law and Order, Hit and Run, Tracker, Monkey Wrench, Hard Master, Zanzibar, Blind Master, Tombstone, Backblast, nice one, Super Trooper, agreed, Big Lob, Crystal Ball, Retro Carded Ace. Oh, that's for a stretch goal. Okay, cool. Right, well, let's talk. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate that. Dawn, Ambush, Headman and the Headhunters, Night Viper, Cesspool, Lifeline, and Hydro Viper. There are so many characters. Just by doing this little quick thing of what name onlys do you want to see, Hit and Run a Muskrat, Deep Six, however many characters are there to get to? Like, it is unreal, isn't it? October Guard, says Jeffrey Smith. I know, sigh. Dreadnought Bat. Yeah, there's so many different things that they can still do with this line, and that's what makes me excited. I still see multiple years of this line continuing. I really do. Barrel Roll, brilliant. Some nice deep cuts on this one as well. It's not just your usuals. There are some on there, but definitely some good stuff. Right. Okay, let's switch now to HasLab, and let's talk Rattler. Now, I don't even think it's worth talking about anything else. I mean, a lot of people have said it could be the Moray, but like to kind of go with the change of environment. Like, we've had ground, we've had air, now we have water, kind of thing. But I definitely think just the way that they've described things, the way that they've hinted at things, the very in your face sort of, like, that specific t-shirt that BMAC was wearing, you don't put that on unless there is a specificity to it. There was no Cobra Air Force in the live event reveals at all. So it just, to me, it screams like we're getting the Rattler. It seems to have been like everybody has just been saying that since day. Well, SDCC was a big giveaway. I think that they talked about it as a heavy possibility at SDCC. They gave reasons why it was a heavy possibility, and they also since then have hinted at that kind of thing working for a HasLab. So it's one of those things where since then, because everyone's been talking about it, it's almost willed it into existence. And the thing is, I'm not sure if it's one of those things where they looked at market research, what people wanted, listen to the feedback of the fans, listen to what people were saying online. Either they looked at that, or they did a thing where they mentioned it at SDCC and then looked at the response to that by the fans to see if it was worth doing or not. And it feels like that is actually happening. That might have been the way that it happened. So either way, I do feel like the Rattler is coming. With that in mind, what are you doing for tiers? Because obviously Wild Weasel, I would, comes with the base offering. I also imagine like weapon systems and all that kind of stuff, blast effects and a flight stand to be included in the base offering. Flight stand, the vehicle itself, the weapon, the missiles and everything, the blast effects, and Wild Weasel, check. That is your base offering. It makes sense. But then, of course, where do you go from there? You have lots of different options, I guess, but you could look at this as a way to get maybe other aerial based vehicle drivers, pilots as they're known, into this HasLab, because you're never going to get certain vehicles, maybe. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking possibly, oh goodness me, I'm blanking on his name. But you could look at it like that to get certain pilots that we haven't seen or probably won't see in the future in here. The problem with Raven is that she's a Night Raven pilot, and if if the Rattler works, I could see them maybe stretching in the future for a Sky Striker and a Night Raven. So I think Raven would make more sense in a Night Raven situation. But yeah, Night Vulture's a good shout, Ryan. The Ramp Rat is another great shout and something I could see them doing 100%. Yeah, ground crew would be awesome. Cobra Pilot is another good one because obviously there was a Cobra Pilot sort of generic Cobra Pilot in the comics early on, so that's definitely something that could work. Or like a pilot gunner or a Wild Weasel, not Wild Weasel gunner, but you know what I mean, like a Rattler gunner is something they could kind of create and just do a kind of riff on Wild Weasel's kind of design and gear and have them in the little bubble bit at the back. Blue version of Baroness is a great shout. Just a different, like a pilot Baroness just makes sense to me. But also I think a pilot Cobra Commander would be awesome. Just in the same way that they did the pilot Cobra Commander for the SDCC Transformers JoJo crossover sets. So I think that would all of that would make sense for me. Yeah. Other than that, though, and I say other than that, but that would cover your tiers comfortably, wouldn't it? And I do you think that would be worth then getting involved? Is that something you guys would like? Is the question? Let me know in the comments if you are like, just write, yeah, like, well, you know, Rattler yes or Rattler no. There you go, easy. Because I am interested to see what people are interested in as well. Is this one that everyone's clamoring for? Because I feel like it's almost slightly different. I feel like it's been like the Rattler's coming, that's cool, but because it's almost like like with the Hiss tank, it's like, of course, that, you know, it's iconic, everyone's excited for it, boom. For the Dragonfly, similar kind of thing. It's like an iconic helicopter, it's really cool, it's amazing looking, it comes with some really cool action figure tiers, and yeah, it's really dope. But you know, with the Rattler, it's almost like it's coming, obviously it's coming. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know really if people are 100% excited and want this. Bree says yes. RKW, yes. 36 Cypher, yes. White, yes. Rattler, yes, says Chris G. Already have a hook on my ceiling for hanging it. Bomb explosion effects for strafing runs. That's actually a good shout, Stygian. Yeah, because you're going to have the gun on the front, aren't you? The classic Gatling gun sort of minigun thing on the nose. Yeah. So yeah, like a kind of like explode, like blast effect would be really cool. Flaffle says Rattler is too big. So I'm guessing is that a Rattler no, Flaffle? Cobra Halo Jumper is a good shout. So like a Paraviper or something would work, right? Rattler Gunner, Feral Ferret. I like that peppermint oil capsule. For the tiers, they can do female pilot of the Night Raven. Yeah, Raven. But again, I think she's more likely Night Raven. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like you'd be shooting yourself in the foot. I know the Night Raven's much longer, but I feel like if this is successful, they'll probably end up doing more of the planes in the future. Going to be 36 inches wide. Where do you put it? Wherever you want to put it, I guess. $350 says Profit 924. Is that where you think it's going to be in terms of price? I do think it might creep into 300. I don't know about 350, but yeah, we'll see, won't we? I guess. Battle damage panels as extras would be great. Good suggestion. Yeah, absolutely. Diecast says yes. Bjorn says yes times 1,000. Nelson says Rattler would be awesome. Just concerned about the size. Not the only one by the looks of that, Nelson. Needs a stand for banking and takeoff landing. Yeah, well, it'll get a flight stand almost certainly. Only, well, you could have the cockpit have two, and you could have the gunner be three, but you don't need necessarily, the figures don't all need to be in the vehicle for it to work, as you know, the tiers and everything. I mean, you're getting what, Wild Bill, Glenda, Crazy Legs, and Ripcord with the Dragonfly, and two of them are going to be on the outside. So yeah, I would say that it doesn't necessarily matter if the figures don't all go into the vehicle at the same time, but they could definitely do a two-seater cockpit. It'd be big, but we'll see. Well, it's probably unlikely, but we'll see how they end up doing it. Definitely a ceiling installation. I'm running out of space as diecast. Rogue says yes, 1000%. Nighttime podcast says I'd like a Haslab rattler for O-rings. I need an addition to my house for the classified vehicle. Absolutely. Ooh, a Cobra Halo, not Fang, is a great idea, Chris. Yeah, I'm thinking Paraviper. I think would be really cool. Could it come with exhaust effects to double as a stand when it's in VTOL? Another good shout, Ben, because obviously the wings are going to have to rotate, aren't they? And we're going to have that VTOL situation. Yeah, maybe that's something they do. Exhaust effects that hold it up. Maybe that would be something to do. Yeah, that would be amazing. Maybe they can include a ceiling harness for it, says Rogue. Yeah, indeed. I was late for the Dial Tone review, but I did see that character looked to be modelled after Dabney Coleman. Sadly, the retired actor passed away last month. That's really sad. Yeah, I didn't know that. They could do AVAC, but I'd rather see him come mainline with a Firebat. I don't think they do AVAC because the Firebat is doable, GL, absolutely. We had no concept of his size until we got it for the Vamp. Wow, big, the Dragonfly. The Dragonfly is 34 inches long. I think people are going to buy the Rattler and leave it in a box. Could possibly happen. One tier can be a set of yellow and black paints, so collectors can make it Tiger Force. Yeah, yikes. Or just make it a Tiger Rat, please. Anyway, foldable rings for the Rattler would be cool. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so not only do they like spin up like that, but they can fold in. That would actually be really cool. Yeah. Anyway, anywho, wings, yeah, definitely needs to be all that. Right then, that is a little Haslab chat. Now, other aspects, of course, we've got Alpine. Was revealed on the live stream. Looks amazing, and we have since had some close-up images of the artwork, I believe by Scott Johnson. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it is Scott Johnson that did these. And again, like, yeah, really cool. Again, this is going to be on the side panel of the box. I will say now that I definitely am not as excited when it comes to the packaging now. Like, I feel like, you know, the kind of like the fight to get window boxes has very much ruined it a little bit for me now. And I know like people wanted the window box, and that's not really I mean, we did have like a sort of version that was kind of working with window and you know, the render on the back. But I don't know. I feel like I was really enjoying the packaging. And yeah, now we're kind of like at the point where the artwork gets like, it just gets minimized. So I'm kind of glad they do this. I'm glad that they post the full artwork so we can kind of enjoy it and see it like this. So yeah, there's Alpine with all his gear. As well as that, they posted close-ups of the render aspect as well. And obviously this takes from John Royal's amazing cover for A Real American Hero with Alpine getting attacked by Trouble Bubbles. So I'm really glad they did that homage. Really excited that they did that. As well as Alpine, of course, we got the Iron Grenadiers, the Iron Grenadier bats, and obviously they were on show on the live stream. Again, I'm not going to go into details because I went into massive detail on the previous episode, of course. But we did, of course, also get close-ups of the artwork and the renders for the bat. Again, Scott Johnson, again, I believe. All of these are Scott Johnson, I think. And yeah, you've got the shiny gold and you've got the kind of Arctic bat reuse head. Really nice again on that one. Alpine needs his backpack. There's a few characters that need backpacks. Alpine can get away with it to a degree, but yeah, I think I would always prefer a backpack than not a backpack. Always, even if a character didn't have one in the past, I'd always be happy to see a backpack given to them. But yeah, you might have to just go in the custom route on that one. But yes, there's your obviously your bat, and of course the render is really awesome as well. And again, a bit more of a close up on it. You can see the kind of like the lights and the sirens are out. I don't know whether it's a call to arms at Castle Destro. So like like getting everyone together because the lights are going off. So it's almost like the spotlights are looking for kind of like bombers and stuff like that. But it's definitely Castle Destro, and it's definitely a situation of they have mobilized the troops basically, and you can see all of the bats there, kind of all lined up, ready to go. Love that. And then of course the Iron Grenadiers themselves. Again, the artwork on show here again, really nice. I'm really digging this Iron Grenadier. I'm looking at it 100% as an Iron Grenadier officer, and I've never been more convinced of anything in my life that we're going to get Iron Grenadiers again, but in a more retro style. Definitely on that one. Yeah. So I'm really into this one. And of course, same kind of thing with the render on the back. It's the same location from a different angle. And you've got Castle Destro again in the background with all the banners hanging down, the lights going off, and the Iron Grenadier basically in front of the battle android troopers behind them as well. So very, very cool. Worms repaint using that torso is a good shout, Leon. Yeah, it's a possibility, isn't it? It's got that, yeah, paint that brown and you've kind of got worms. Gross. Yeah, so that's your Iron Grenadier. And of course, to finish it off, we have Storm Shadow. And yeah, sorry, to finish off the kind of close-ups of the images of the artwork and everything, we have Storm Shadow. And of course, again another beauty from Scott, and done in a way where you can get quite a lot of them in that strip as well, without kind of sacrificing or cutting too much off. But again, another beautiful piece of work, really showing off that Arashikage tattoo as well. That I know a lot of you in the comments probably have a real one of those tattoos. Yeah, and then of course you have his render, which again looks phenomenal, and it looks like he's at the Arashikage temple, but he could be like, I don't know, it could be his red ninja set situation. He's got like red kind of color in the background and everything, I guess, to lift him off that page a little bit more against the white. But I wonder if it's either Arashikage or the red ninjas. Either way, it's cool. And then of course, going through the rest of the live stream, we got reveals for Stalker, the Cobra Trooper on retro card, and Cobra Commander, all of which will be going up next week. Well, I say next week, in like 3 days, like Tuesday basically. So they'll go up for pre-order on Tuesday. There might be some other little kind of video pre-recorded thing, probably a small one, or they'll just post them for pre-order and just check the socials out for that. So yeah, 6/11/24 at 1 p.m. Eastern, Pulse and other fan retailers. So that is a pretty much your standard retail release kind of situation. As well as retro, we got the Marauders as well, didn't we? We got Sarge and Lowlight and Spirit. Here they are all on show here. There's this itty bitty ditty bag. I love that thing. That soft goods done really well, I have to admit. Certainly got the balance right with that. But the kind of thing with that is that it lends itself well to soft goods. A backpack, in the way that GI Joe have backpacks, don't quite lend themselves to soft goods all the time because of the different materials that these backpacks are made of. Some of them are like it's a mixture of like soft material and hard material. So yeah, I kind of understand why we don't have a lot of soft good kind of bags basically. But I'm really happy that we're getting this one, and we'll probably end up seeing it in in the future with other releases. Here's a great shot of the explosion with them behind that explosion. Phenomenal stuff. I love that one. And they are going up for pre-order on Tuesday, the 18th of June. And that is so the Sarge is a FanMazon exclusive. So Amazon, select fan retailers, and Pulse. Okay. And that starts at 1 p.m. on Tuesday, the 18th. As well as that, we have this going up on the same day. Now, this is a Pulse exclusive for Low Light and Spirit and Niol. And that is 1 p.m. for premium and 2 p.m. for everyone else. So available for pre-order Tuesday, the 18th of June. Right then, I think that's everything from... Oh, no, it's not. Forgot the Stinger. So yeah, the Stinger was also revealed, and that looked incredible too. What I would have to say, out of everything that was revealed, my favorite thing was Storm Shadow, but my second favorite thing was the Stinger. The Stinger being so awesome, and I cannot wait to... I mean, I haven't even got the Vamp in hand yet, but the Stinger is already looking like just the coolest. And again, we've got that kind of back piece for the stand for the figures to kind of like stand on the back of. Very cool. We've got the gull-wing doors that, you know, you can see all the interior there. Very nice indeed. This shot is beautiful from Matt shooting the Galaxy. I love this shot of the driver kind of reaching in for his AK. Really beautiful shot, that. And here he is in the Back to the Future homage. Love this one too. Very nice. And this one is very cinematic, kind of like leaping through the jungle with explosions all over the place, firing off a couple of missiles. Very, very awesome stuff, with Firefly in there as well, with the windshield down, shooting out. Brilliant stuff. That is also up for pre-order on the 18th. Again, that's FanMazon as well. That's Amazon, fan retailers, and Pulse. Okay, and that's at 1 p.m. Good luck in your pre-orders for the rest of the month. Right, leak listings. We'll quickly rinse through these. Nothing really new to report. We've already kind of updated everything, and just 3 things on there. One thing, obviously, that we can't reveal is the Road Pigs Animal Companion, and the other 2 things we just don't know are Fred Deluxe and Whip Snakes 2-pack. And leak listings for 2025, we did manage to reveal that Footloose is Flanders on that list because of his name only reveal drop over the event. Okay. What else are we saying? Name only reveals that are left now. We'll be moving on to Let's Talk Classified Footloose next. We've covered pretty much everything else, which is good. So I'll be doing that hopefully soon. And we'll probably get more name only reveals as well coming up if they do other kind of events and stuff like that. And I expect name only reveals for the SDCC panel as well. So we'll have to keep an eye out for those too. Lots of things to see renders about as well. So I think we'll see renders of some of these very soon as well. Speaking of renders, we have added to that render list. We still got to see Night Force Ripcord, Glenda, and Night Force Crazy Legs. We haven't even got a proper render of Crazy Legs. And of course, now that we can add Dial Tone and Saw Viper to that list, fingers crossed for some sort of Dragonfly update this month. Let's hope so. Right. We've got to the end. Let's do shout outs and bring it to a close. Let's do it.
Have you tried Hoarder yet? No? Well, you need to. If you have a collection of things and want to create a fun and easy way of organising it and of course showing it off, then get involved. You can post items and build collections, and you can drop a status like getting a fun delivery or seeing some awesome related stuff on your travels. Build your collections with Hoarder. The app is free to download on Google Play and the App Store, so what are you waiting for? Get to hoarding.
Right then, sorry if I'm rushing a bit, but we I do have to bring it to a close pretty soon. Yes, so first off, massive shout outs to Pat and Phil of Articulated Points. Of course, Pat, my usual co-host, couldn't be here today. He's busy this weekend, but that's totally fine, and that happens occasionally. So massive shout out to Pat and to Phil, who do Articulated Points. Pat very recently did post his Street Fighter inspired Articulated Points episode. There he is, celebrating with the rest of the Street Fighter crew. It's an absolute beauty. Go check it out. Link in the description for the Articulated Points YouTube channel. It's a really solid video. Chris G says, is Stardust a Mad Marauder? No, MM doesn't mean Mad Marauders. MM meant Mystery Machine previously, and it just was a designation that they lumped in like deluxe versions of figures in, basically. So the only that was that turned out to be a Mad Marauders thing was who was it? I can't remember what the hang on, I just want to go back quickly to see which one the was. Oh, it was Low Light and Spirit. That was the only one that turned out to be a Mad Marauders thing, but everything else wasn't. So yeah, it doesn't mean that effectively. Also, massive shout out to Kate and Phoebes, the family. Mum and Dad are going to be visiting soon, so I can't wait to see them from the UK, and we'll be having some fun during one of the busiest months ever for G.I. Joe. I know there might even be on a couple of episodes. You know how it is. Yes, and of course, massive shout out to Brian Sauer for our amazing graphics. And of course, related to Brian, we have Codename Iowa Presents Assembly Required, the 13th annual Iowa G.I. Joe convention in Des Moines on the 8th and 9th of November this year. More information to follow, including all of the good stuff like hotel accommodation and all the other stuff, all the other info that's going to come for now that we've finished and completed Operation Armor 4. Did you guys watch it? Did you enjoy it? We did our own little, well, Adam and I, Adam Riches and myself, we did a special episode for Operation Armor where we watched 2 episodes of the Deke cartoon related to the Eco Warriors and did a fun little DVD commentary alongside it. We called it the Full Force Theatre 3000 Deking Around. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out. Go find Codename Iowa's YouTube channel and go watch Operation Armor 4 if you haven't. It's really, really good. Plus, it's got a great episode of double episode of Articulated Points / Joe Declassified with Pat and Chris Murray. They delved into the Eco Warriors in a big way, and it's really interesting. So go check that out as well. It was a great show and definitely worth checking out. Right then, also the last shout out of the day is Talking Joe. They have done an amazing interview with Andrea Milana, the artist on Cobra Commander. You can go check that out, link in the description as well. Really awesome. Right then, that is it. Thank you very much for joining me on the Full Force Weekly this week, guys. Really appreciate all of the comments and everything. I will be back for Let's Talk Classified Footloose, as soon as I can get it ready. I'm sure there'll be more news to kind of cover this week as well, as there always is. And I'll probably see you at some point then. Have a great weekend. I hope you've had a nice Saturday morning or whatever it is with me. And we'll see you on the next one. Stay fresh, cheese bags. And as always, after 3, 1, 2, 3, full force. Laters.
Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on X, formerly Twitter, @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page, facebook.com/TheFullForce. We've also added a brand new Instagram, so check us out there as well @The Full Force Podcast, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on any of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.